Hello and welcome to the Astroenergetic Tapestry report for Monday, March 3rd to Sunday, March 9th of 2014. I am Wendy Villanueva here with my astrological colleague, Sterling Brighter, and we're here to give you some insight about what the energies to expect in the coming week. You can find me on my website at astrophilia.net and Sterling's website. Where was yours?
Mine is rockstarastrologer.com, and the podcast to the Astroenergetic Tapestry report is on cosmicconference.com. We put them out weekly on Sunday evenings, so look for them there.
So, Wendy, do you want to give us a little synopsis of the week ahead, and then we can talk about each day individually?
Yes, I think that this coming week there will be more changes in directions of planets. Venus will change signs to Aquarius, and Jupiter will move direct. Saturn is coming retrograde, just got retrograde. So there's many changes in direction in the energy, but I feel that it's all supportive to beginning to implement and put into practice the changes that we've been deciding on, considering and realizing we need to make in our lives. I think it will be kind of inspiring to work on inner growth, on expanding ourselves and work on that, on ourselves. And if we begin looking at Monday, I think it's a good example of that energy.
For Monday, March 3rd, I see there's so many different things going on in the sky that are coming to sort of a head on Monday. Well, we've been working on ourselves in a lot of different angles. The first thing that happened with Mercury turning direct on Friday, and then Saturday, Mars going retrograde, and then Sunday, Saturn going retrograde. It has been this huge shift in ourselves, but that's not the only things that have been going on. There's a lot of energy out there that is high vibration, and when I say that, what I mean by that is that we feel a high, good energy. Most of us do. I've noticed that some people have been feeling energy and it's very strong for them, and I think that if we're not feeling in, the right mind and we're not working on ourselves in the right way, the energy can flow in the opposite direction, and it can kind of give us a difficult time. I think that this has a lot to do with throughout the whole day of March 3rd, Monday. This is like compiling up, and it really happens to kind of peak towards the end of the day and wane down. I believe that in the morning time, the moon is in Aries, and it is giving us a lot of energy towards working on things that we're starting new. So if you have a desire to work towards things that are new, grand projects and things like that, I think it's time to implement that. There's a lot of planetary patterns going on that are giving energy to start taking baby steps towards those things that we're talking about working on. So that's kind of what I was feeling for March 3rd. And it just seemed like, I know it didn't go morning, noon, and night, but it did kind of just seem like that's how the flow of the energy was going for Monday for me. What were you thinking about it, Wendy?
I think the same, that there would be a lot of this sense, like a kind of a big sense of purpose that we have figured, from what we have figured out until now, we're ready to begin taking action on it in whatever small way, but like a sense of purpose of let's get something started in some direction. And a certain passion for life, or what you could call joie de vivre, like this joy of life, that whatever we do will be that we will be present in it, and it will be easier to be present within the moment of doing things. When it comes to Mars retrograde, I feel that it can be a lot of working with our own energy, working in ourselves, but if we have a lot of repressed anger or frustration, it can kind of begin coming out in some way unless we work for it, like or more consciously bring it out and so it doesn't just explode on us or against someone else.
Yeah, I agree with you about Mars being retrograde and repressed anger. Sometimes I wonder if I'm a little Pollyanna in my interpretations, in the fact that I give the good side of the energy flow, but there is also a negative side of the energy flow, which is just the opposite direction, so I really agree with you. If people are having repressed anger issues or things like that, they may come to the surface, and for today might be a little bit better because Mars does connect with the moon and Venus, but it really depends on the space that you're in. If you're in a good space, and if you're not in a good space, this gives you opportunity to bring some loving self-love to yourself to help you to maybe heal whatever is angering you in the first place. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I was feeling for Monday.
like a total opportunity for healing and for acceptance of something in ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is an opportunity for healing. So it's a good thing. And hopefully, Monday won't be too difficult and we'll be able to get through it and, allow these things to take place and our energies are not being too shifted around. And if they are, just go with the flow and try to, make things feel as good as you can. And I really do think even towards the end of the day, it gets a little bit smoother in energy. The gemstone suggestions that I wanted to give for Monday is rhodochrosite is my favorite gemstone for self-love. So I'm going to say that one probably a lot in the next little bit as far as Mars is doing its retrograde. So that one is a good one that you can pick up and try to work with a little bit. Even just keeping it near you, it does contain trace minerals that if you keep it touching your skin, they tiny little minerals that the stone touching your skin can go into your body and can help you even further. So, doing something like that, or putting a gemstone, wearing a pendant or holding in your hand or whatnot would be really helpful. But I think that would be suiting to anybody with the energy flowing in a healthy way and happy way or energy flowing in a stressful way. So either way, that's going to bring some help. So we can move on to Tuesday. Do you want to start with Tuesday, Wendy?
Yes, I think it would be a bit different from the morning and then towards the evening, because it will start with this more fiery, outgoing energy and maybe or feeling anxious to get things done, but maybe it's a situation where maybe it's not the right moment, but we would like to just take just a little bit of patience and realizing that you're already giving these baby steps and these first steps towards some of our goals, but it will come in time. And towards later, it will probably change of energy as the moon transitions us to being more kind of within the normal cycle of things, being able to enjoy more simple things. And it's kind of sort of for this Mardi Gras or Fat Tuesday of idea of just enjoying food or enjoying life or having a bit more of a...
Yeah. I think towards the afternoon, exactly what you said, with the moon transitioning into Taurus, it does give us a little bit of energy towards having a more relaxed state of being. Aries is very fiery, so very passionate. And, with that Mars retrograde and then the Saturn retrograde, it almost brings like a hot tempered passion. And I think the Taurus energy will help to kind of make it a little bit more enjoyable. There's also some other aspects in the afternoon that make me think that things will be a little bit either more enjoyable to you or they possibly could be tense. If they're tense, try to look towards what would make me feel a little bit more happy, a little bit more loving, a little bit more artistic, creative, those kind of things. And towards the evening, I think this is a perfect night to have Mardi Gras and Fat Tuesday because it'll be a fun energy towards the evening time. So enjoy. The gemstone suggestions that I would give you are to work with, again, rhodochrosite that will help to even out any kind of stress issues that you have going on. One of the things that I do love to work with rhodochrosite for is anxiety and putting it on your solar plexus chakra. So if you have any anxiety or stress stuff going on, that would be great to do that. Also, blue calcite would be very good to work with because it would give an energy, but it would give a calming, cool energy to anybody. And it's also fun, too. Calcite has like a fun kind of energy to it. So blue calcite, even green calcite would be good to work with. So those are the gemstone suggestions I would put for Tuesday the 4th. So do you want to start us off with Wednesday, the 5th?
I think the kind of sense of enjoyment and well-being will continue on to Wednesday morning. I think it will feel like whatever you touch, you can make grow type of energy and even yourself like a very generous and optimistic kind of view. And early evening, Venus changes signs and leaves Capricorn to get to Aquarius. So it won't be so much about a structure of things, but more about a progressive view, more about maybe a mental approach to well-being, to beauty, to everything Venus represents.
Yeah. I believe in the afternoon with Venus turning into Aquarius, it's a really good opportunity for us to work with the energies of Venus. I think Venus being in Capricorn for so long because it was in Capricorn, I think it got to 29 degrees or 28 degrees, and then it turned retrograde, and it was in Capricorn the whole retrograde, and then it went direct, and now again, it's out now. It's finally out. Yay! So today I've been looking forward to. And it's conjunct my natal sun, so that's even going to be a good day for me. me. But I believe for everybody, it's, it's just a shift in the energies. And sometimes when a planet moves signs, we have a readjusting to do. So it might feel a little bit like that, with the things that we love and stuff like that. But it's not necessarily a negative thing. It's just a readjustment. But the readjustment's good, and it makes us more light and airy in our things that we love, and we're not so serious. I look at Venus as what we love, and I do believe a lot of what we love is beauty and art and things like that. And I do believe that, the things that we love will be a little bit directed a little bit more towards light and airy things and not so seriousness, like Capricorn can sometimes have a heavy seriousness to it. So that's kind of cool. And I'm looking forward to that myself. In the evening, I believe that there will be a nice energy for us, just a flow of just feeling well and feeling content with who we are on the inside, And we were talked a lot about last week, thinking about the things that we want to restructure within ourselves. And I think this day is a good day to start taking the steps to making that happen. The moon being in Taurus as of yesterday, and then the switching of the signs of Venus is also about the physical things as well as the stuff that we love. Moving in that direction would be really good. So that's kind of what I feel. For the gemstone suggestions, I'm going to suggest aquamarine today for if you want to tap into the Venus moving into Aquarius energy. That would be a very good one. I would also suggest that we work with tiger eye because tiger eye has a very stabilizing energy and also a building energy. So we can start building things that we want to start working on, whether that's internal or external. So that's kind of the gemstone suggestions I have for Wednesday. So for Thursday, the first thing that pops into my mind is a nice energy of Jupiter turning direct. That happens early in the morning at 5:42 a.m. Eastern Time, and that is a really auspicious time for us to build and make bigger within ourselves. Instead of it being a internal thing, it can be more of an external thing. So for the last several months, Jupiter has been in retrograde, and now it's direct, and now things will start to grow. But early in the morning, aside from that, I feel like we're starting to put some structure to the things that we're working on, and we're starting to lay like a foundation for ourselves. And this is a really good time to start, making the physical world, happen for ourselves. What kind of things do we want to bring into this physical world? What kind of things do we want to work on? What were you seeing for Thursday?
I agree with you. Like it takes some time for slower moving planet to take on speed. So it will be just a gradual change in gears, but definitely the start of a season of growth. So whatever work we're doing within ourselves, like the energy we put in ourselves, will cause things to bloom outside too. And I think that it will feel a lot like maybe moon being void, of course, until pretty much in the evening, later in the evening. It will feel like maybe it's not the most productive day to get a lot done, but to get this beginning sense of structure, and I feel like almost a sense of rhythm, like the new rhythm that we're taking for our life, almost like we could work and kind of take time to be on our own, work on our own with music and enjoy that and kind of getting to this sense of music or rhythm in life.
This energy is helping us catapult us forward into the things that we're trying to work on within ourselves.
I think it will be a very comfortable evening. Also, once the moon enters Gemini, it feels like much lighter, maybe chatty, kind of really easygoing, curious, and it makes a very nice aspect to the moon. That Venus is now in Aquarius, so it will be just very nice time to exchange ideas, not necessarily to be very attached to them, but to kind of very light, shooting the breeze kind of thing with friends, or just kind of feeling this sense of being able to communicate in a much lighter way after the whole Mercury retrograde and past week. I think it will be a really nice, comfortable evening.
I agree with all that you said. Some of the gemstones that I would suggest for Thursday, I would again suggest aquamarine to tap into Venus into Aquarius energy. I would also suggest that you might want to add jasper to the mix. Jasper is a very Gemini stone, and you might want to work with one in the morning and one at night. Jasper would be the evening stone that I would suggest. That's kind of what we're seeing for Thursday the 6th. Friday the 7th, the moon does continue into Gemini. It stays in Gemini the whole entire day. I feel like the morning time will us, we might feel a little bit dreamy. We might feel like, oh my God, it's Friday, hurry up, let's get this party started. Hopefully the weekend will come quick. And that's okay. If you're feeling a little like you're tired and not like you want to do too much, I can understand it, and just try to push through the day. I don't think there'll be too much stuff going on other than, the fact that you'll be excited to go out and play a little on the weekend. The evening time, I think it lends towards a little bit more excitement in the air. This might be one of those evenings that you do want to go out and have a little fun with other people and socialize or have some kind of excitement or something going on with yourself. What were you feeling for Friday the 7th?
I just feel it will be like a lighter day than it has been previously in the week. And in the morning, a lot more of a dreaminess to it. It's kind of like we're willing to communicate, to think about what our ideals are, our ideal life, and more excited about it, maybe more positive. Like later in the evening, there will be more electricity in the air, like a sense of maybe unexpected invitations out somewhere or unexpected communications or something like that has more of a dynamism for the evening.
So the gemstone suggestions that I would suggest for Friday the 7th, you might actually want to go to sleep on the 6th with some moonstone. That would help you to kind of connect with your dreams and like your higher ideals, like what Wendy was talking about, and carry it with you throughout the day. That would help you to connect with those higher ideals and that happiness and that floaty kind of feeling. And then in the afternoon, in the evening, if you're looking at kind of pulling some energy within yourself or getting some excitement going on, labradorite is the stone of magic, and it's a really fun stone to work with, So if you're going to go out and have fun or something like that, stick some labradorite in your pocket or wear something with labradorite on it and see what happens. See what kind of magic you can pull out of the air. That's kind of what I see for Friday. I'm really grateful that it's a nicer, lighter day for everybody. It seems like the energies are starting to work a little bit more towards us. Saturday, did you want to start us off, Wendy?
Yeah, I think it still continues on a Gemini month, so it will be a very light day or a day to feel like curious about things, to feel like playing in a playful mode. And in a way, like our emotions will be like we will want to play, to be like enjoying things, to go from one thing to the other, but our mind might be feeling like, no, I really actually want to kind of be more relaxed, not be in such a hurry, and there might be a little bit of a tug of war there, but it's not nearly as bad as when Mercury was retrograde. It's more of a just kind of making a choice or decision and kind of making a compromise there. And towards the evening, it will be just very good, like time to communicate or to write things or to journal, like a way easier, like getting to the opposite of the whole Titan vibe we had last week. It will be just very easy to actually get it out there and it comes out like it should. Like, whoa, it works.
Right. On Saturday, it's also a good time for us to communicate with other people or communicate with our ideas and things like that, just as much as we can. If you're having difficulty communicating, how about working with a little bit of blue lace agate? That's really helpful for working with being able to communicate. So that's one of the gemstone suggestions I have for that day. I also did want to say before I go through the rest of the gemstone suggestions is that in the evening time, you know how when we're working on projects or working on stuff within ourselves, we feel like, oh, we hit a wall or we hit a brick, for a second, I don't even want to say it's a wall because it's not this huge wall that we hit. But we hit a little bump in the road and, we have to go over it. And sometimes we feel like it's a setback, but it's not really a setback. It's just a little bump in the road that we have to go over and it's no big deal and we'll just keep going. So if you feel like that in the evening, like something set you back from your goal, say you made some goals to work on yourself and not eat sweets or something like that and you decided to break down and eat a cookie, don't beat yourself up over it. It is what it is. That analogy is what I'm talking about. So, work with yourself on that and know that you're human and it's not a big deal. And, we can always try better the next time. And it's really, who wants to live in a world without cookies once in a while anyway? So let's do it. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling for Saturday. I already suggested to work with blue lace agate, but I would also suggest to work with rhodonite because rhodonite also has an energy of helping you to open your heart but it also has an energy of helping to keep you grounded and centered. So, this is a good time to work with rhodonite. So those are my gemstone suggestions for Saturday. So for Sunday, the first thing I wanted to mention is that in the morning we do the daylight savings time, so we lose an hour. So that will bring us to, in the morning, I feel like we might feel a little restless, like in the early morning time, and we might even wake up early. That might be something that happens, or, we might feel like there's a lot of energy that's going on within ourselves at that point. And if that's okay, if we do, then get up and do something for yourself. Do something that we had talked about with Mars going retrograde, some of that internal energy, working on it yourself, and that would be really a good suggestion for early in the morning on Sunday. A lot of times people want to sleep in on Sundays, but I don't know if that's going to be today. You may or may not. In the early morning at 9:33 a.m., the moon moves into Cancer, which gives us a switch to our emotions. The Cancer moon, the moon is very at home in Cancer. It feels like we'll feel comfortable on this day. This will be a comfortable energy for us in the next couple of days. The Cancer moon does help us open our emotions a little bit and tap in a little bit. Sometimes I've heard people tell me that they just feel very emotional and sensitive, and that's okay. Sometimes we need to tap into our emotions and we have a difficult time doing it. So things like the moon in Cancer would help us to tap into them. That's kind of what I was feeling for the morning time. Did you want to add something to the morning or go on to the afternoon, Wendy?
Well, I think the same, that it might be a kind of restless morning in which we feel like we're in the mood of just getting ready to go and do things, but it might not be necessarily the case that we can do it outdoors. So maybe we can direct our energy into, even if it's not something traditional, just like working out or something that actually benefits, something like working on us, on inner self.
Yeah.
And later on, as the moon enters Cancer, it totally is a change from your mind back to your emotions and how you feel. And I agree that people can seem moody. Some people just feel more comfortable in their emotions and thoughts, so it feels just more homey, more comfortable. And for some people, it's the opposite, that they're kind of more comfortable in the lightness of the mind, but they feel very uncomfortable about having to be within their emotions. But I think the evening will be actually it will be very relaxing if we allow ourselves to feel what we need to feel without judging it too much, and maybe putting a movie that can kind of take us somewhere to good feelings, maybe even almost an epic or heroic movie or something that just inspires us in some way.
Yeah, so in the evening, I think you're right. I think it's more of a relaxed evening. It's a time for us to just kind of enjoy ourselves. If we're into spiritual practices, we might want to do something like meditate or do Reiki or whatever kind of things that we do. Or if we're not into that kind of stuff, we just might feel good and want to chill out and watch TV and hang out and that kind of stuff, or read a book, or kind of like a dreamy kind of happy feeling that we feel in the evening. So the gemstone suggestions I'm going to give you for Sunday, our first suggestion I want to give you is red coral or red. So but don't grab it and then sleep with it, because those are activating stones. So if you're, in the morning, if you have some of that and you want to work with it, those will be the stones you grab in the morning when you wake up and you're ready to be awake, because they will kind of, activate your energy. In the evening, if you're feeling just kind of relaxed and you just want to kind of go with the flow with that, I would suggest working with amethyst or even clear quartz and just going with that. I think that kind of wraps up the gemstone suggestions for Sunday the 9th.
This concludes another one of our Astroenergetic Tapestry reports for the week ahead, for March 3rd until March 9th of 2014. We hope you enjoyed joining us and listening this week. Check the CosmicConference.com show page. You can even download this under the podcasts on iTunes. And again, you can find me at astrophilia.net, and Star has her own further questions on when to use certain rocks or how to, or which ones you can keep